peace and love. So this is my response, man, to the video he uploaded where it said sovereign citizen white man declares Moorish nationality in the court, which is not what happened. So I found out that I was adopted, and I went to my adoptive mother, and I asked her my mother's name, and she did not want to speak about it at all. So I drafted the writ of discovery, and I sent it to vital statistics, the court, and all of it. I wanted to know my mother's name. I wanted to know why the adoption took place. I wanted to know who took fiat or who took fees, such as attorneys. I wanted to know who took money for this who generated money from because of me, because I seen it as a fraud anyway. I contacted Vital Statistics, and they admitted to taping over the birth certificate when they do adoptions and doctoring and tampering with the birth certificate. I also drafted up a name correction, because I spoke to Mother Anaida, and she told me straight from the get-go that an adoption is fraud. So when I spoke to Mother Anaida on the phone, and she said, look, adoption is fraud, I was like, I'm not going to use this name no more, you know what I'm saying? That's why I said my position is different than the Moors, because I want to correct my name back to my bloodline, as far as my mother's name. So I sent out my name correction to the sheriff and everything, but I was charged with giving an officer false name. And I said, hey, look, I sent you notice. So it's not like I was trying to escape arrest by trying to make you think I was somebody else, because I sent you notice. And the Supreme Court ruling that I read in the hearing stated giving notice holds the same weight as a court decreed name change or correction. And the Supreme Court, as far as I know, is the highest court, right? And I was not at the Supreme Court. I was in an inferior tribunal. So he had no right to. There's no way that he could overrule a Supreme Court ruling. There's no way he could have did that. He also said you can scream it to the heavens that you're Latif Bey. And that's another reason why I used Latif Bey, was because I was advised by Moors that, hey, look, you're an ipso jure Moor subject, you're under the Bays and L's, utilize that Bay until you get the fraud straightened up, and when you find out your mother's name, then you could do that, then you can do what you need to do about that. So that's what I did. He said you can scream it to the heavens, I'm Latif Bey, and that's not going to work. He was trying to, his ego was having him say that he had more power than in the divine, than the heavens, which is, the heavens is your mind state, but he was totally in the wrong, and you could see it. You can scream it to the heavens. Ain't no magistrate, no judge supposed to be speaking like that. That you can send it to the heavens, and it is that we're not going to honor that. Also, I sliced them up. I was like, Supreme Court's ruled that giving notice holds the same weight, and he said no, they don't. And then I said, well, I would like to go and put this on the record, the Supreme Court decision. And then there's comments saying, well, he was stumbling over his words when he was reading and all this. That's because when I put my book bag down and I went into my book bag to get the paper I was going to read, there was 2 sheriffs on one side and 2 sheriffs on the other. Well, deputies. And they pulled out their firearm. That's why I look back. If you listen closely in the video, he says, don't go in there. And that's why I look up to the magistrate. I was like, I'm trying to get this paper, because they all pulled their firearms in the courtroom on me. So I'm sitting there trembling because I'm thinking I'm getting ready to get shot down. And go back to the video and listen to it. I put the book, I was like, well, I like to put it on the record, the Supreme Court ruling, and I drop my book bag, and I go to go on the paper, and you hear them say, hey, don't go in there, and they draw their firearms on me. And even after he says I can get the papers, and while I'm reading it, they have their firearms in their hand. So that's why I'm trembling, stumbling over my words, because I thought I was getting ready to get shot dead. You seen how it was. You can scream it to the heavens. I said, well, Supreme Court ruled that giving notice holds the same weight. He said, not true. Then I read the Supreme Court ruling. And Supreme Court ruling is res judicata. That's decisions constitutionally secured rights. So I was totally violated in that hearing. And that's what I'm saying. I went on and did 2 months in jail in the hole and lost 30 pounds because I'm trying to correct and go back and honor my mothers and my foremothers and my forefathers. Hold on, let this siren go by. So yeah, man, it's straight pretty much slander and libel on Javen Bullet's part, because he's straight up lying in his description and he don't know what's going on. And people in the comments are saying that I'm trying to escape. I'm trying to say that's not me, because I'm not trying to get charged with whatever crime I was being charged with. I was being charged with giving an officer false name when I already sent them notice that, hey, look, I found out I was adopted. I'm not going to use this last name no more, and I'm giving you notice of my name correction. And their Supreme Court ruling says that you're doing the right thing if you're reading Supreme Court rulings and you're acting in accordance with Supreme Court rulings, which that's what I did. I have the perfect defense for willfulness. And if you notice, this Javen Bullet's Darkman X never comes with documented proof. All he does is speak and just hate on Moors. I don't see him doing nothing, man, but just hating on Moors. You call me a sovereign citizen. The definition of sovereign citizen in the Department of Homeland Security is a domestic terrorist. So you call me a terrorist, motherfucker. But I'm the one out here, you know what I'm saying? All the people that went to court that day didn't stand up for their rights and didn't say nothing to them. They just said, guilty, I'm guilty, I plead guilty, I plead guilty. But I'm the only one that stood up and went to jail and lost 30 damn pounds, man, because I want to honor my foremothers and forefathers. But I got dirty motherfuckers like you, dirty Moors, coming out talking shit, calling me a sovereign citizen, saying I'm declaring Moorish nationality, which I never did that. I told you, I'm Austrian. You know, my family came here in